I'm on now, dear.
Happy birthday.
Thank you very much.
Again.
Want to wish everyone a happy Lon's birthday?
Happy Lon's birthday, everyone. And happy Lontober. May you enjoy it even more than Lon is.
Which will be hard. One of the funniest events of my hippiedom days, of our hippiedom days, is way back in around 1970. Constance and I were living sort of communally with several of our band members of Charlie D and Milo, and those were the years that we were recording at CBS and touring. Those were the Charlie D and Milo days, and and like all musicians, we were stoned all the time. Hashish was our drug of choice. None of us ever were into what would be considered hard drugs at all, but we just loved our hashish. And our bass player and violinist was very good friends with someone we called Ben. And Ben was a runner for the Brotherhood of Eternal Love, which was Timothy Leary's. Constance is looking on.
I was passing by and I love sentimental stories about living with the band. And Lon's brother and his wife too. It wasn't just the
Yes,
band.
it was the band members and my brother and his wife, and we had a beautiful place in Costa Mesa. And in those days, the band split it up. We could sort of afford it. We're always broke. But anyway, our hashish connection was this very cool guy. And he would make, and Brotherhood of Eternal Love, look him up, Google him. And see, there's movies made about him and things like that. And he would come fresh from Afghanistan, is one trip that I recall, with a big stack of
Chapatis made of hashish.
yes,
With gold stamps on them. Assorted colors, sandstone, black, whatever.
they were like discuses, like a discus thrower throws.
Chapatis.
Only they were smaller, about hamburger
Right.
size, but really thick. And if a couple of them broke in
Transit.
they'd be at the bottom of this thing, and he'd just come visit and see how we're doing, and he'd say, "Oh, I can't really sell these broken ones," and he'd give us about a 2-year supply of our hashish. And it was just absolutely, and it was giggle hashish. I mean,
Well, it was giggle and holy hashish,
yeah.
and
I mean, it was
smelled like incense.
sacred sacrament is what it was. But anyway,
It was the giggle part. Hashish is sacred.
one Easter, okay, when we were living communally, Constance baked and
No, it was Margaret baked.
Margaret baked an Easter cake,
Yeah.
and that's my brother's then wife. All of these people are dead now. She baked an Easter cake, and she was out in the kitchen getting ready to decorate the Easter cake, and the band members and my brother were out in the living room, just stoned out of her.
And she had these little tubes of colored, gross colored frosting or something that you could write on cakes with.
Right, those little squirt decorations on. And then what happened, dear?
No, you have to tell this part because nobody would believe it if I told them.
Well, anyway, I said, "Hey, can I help decorate the Easter cake for us?" And remember, we're living communally. We're very egalitarian. And she said, "Sure, you could, yeah, go ahead and decorate it." And so I took the tube of colored frosting kind of thing like that, and I wrote, "Happy Easter, Lon." Now, that might not strike you funny.
It was a warning to the rest of us what living with Lon was like.
That may seem that's not funny at all. No, wait a second. You got to be stoned to see how funny that was. To see how
Because
funny.
I don't think Margaret was stoned. I don't think Margaret thought it was that funny.
No one was quite as amused as I
I'm
was.
going back to the kitchen now.
Okay.
It's like stories about Ben.
I hope Ben is still okay and doing well. This is before Leary was arrested and went to. Anyway, it's part of our history. And today being my birthday, you see I'm dressed in my summer kind of stuff. I got my chicken hat on that my son sent me. I'm sorry, I'm just going to shoot the shit with you today. But there's one thing that I sort of had as a theme, and that was yesterday I posted or reposted this picture of Constance and me in 1965 in our second year Spanish class together. Now, this gentleman right there is Keith Goins, and Keith Goins was our fellow student. He was also in the class of 66. Keith Goins was one of the best rock guitarists that ever lived. Okay, and I'm really not exaggerating. He was severely crippled with polio as a child and had nothing to do except practice. And he was magnificent. And he had a band in Columbus, Nebraska called the Echoes. And the Echoes, year after year, was always voted the #1 rock band in Nebraska. And he went on to play lead guitar for a number of other recording artists and things. And he was my guitar teacher. He taught me, more or less, how to play 3 chords, which is all you needed in those days. Okay. But anyway, I was looking at this, and Constance and I were sort of looking at the webpage this morning. And it struck me how archetypal that image was. And then I began to think, everybody's family photo album
is like a bunch of tarot cards. You could go back and find all your old photos and see what's in the background and see what you're doing and if you put them in order like a diary, you could tell the story of your life, and it would be just like reading a big tarot reading, a whole spread, because you tell them it was you're gonna go there. Okay, it's really awesome. We saw it this morning.
You can see how prophetic. I bet we could safely say every photo of the past is
prophetic of the future.
That's, I couldn't have said it better myself. But look at this. I wrote a little poem for each one of the tarot trumps and the aces. And for the Lover's card, I wrote, upon the woman, man looks with lust. But the angel is her true lover. The man imagines what he must, but it's a God who makes love to her. Now, I'm not saying that Keith Goins was the deity figure there. It falls apart.
But look what's over my head.
Yes. And so my poem for the lovers was, a marriage is the catalyst. The lover's decree is clear. By union, you will be transformed to greet the coming year. Okay, that's DuQuette's little poem from Book of Ordinary Oracles. Now let's look at this picture just a little bit more. And I wish I could enhance it in such a way that we could see things better. Here's the full thing. We're in Spanish class, and our Spanish teacher, Mr. Hathaway, Constance was his prize student. She was very naturally talented with languages. He loved her. He was an old, tormented alcoholic genius, bachelor, lived alone, smoked cigarettes, always had chalk dust on the back of his coat, wore two different, not only socks, two different shoes on occasion. He loved Constance and called her Constanza. And I took him for French also, and he hated me. He despised me. But he needed me because I ran the language laboratory. I was the only one that knew how to use tape recorders. I could thread a tape recorder because I worked at the radio station, and he needed me for his survival because all of his language classes needed that language lab. But he despised me just for being me. Monsieur DuQuette, he would say. But he would always say, Constanza. But anyway, the guy was brilliant, okay, and I tormented him no end, okay, and you know my story. I never took a book home or anything else. I scammed my way through high school. But this is from our second year Spanish class, and he would draw all these neat little drawings and stuff on the blackboard to illustrate his nouns and verbs in Spanish, and it was cute. It was poignant, and he was brilliant, and he was tormented, and he committed suicide soon after Constance left.
And married him.
And she married me. I think that was the final blow.
I think that's very egotistic of you to say that.
That's very
egotistic.
He was a drunk, okay, and terribly sad. But anyway.
Get to the point.
I'll get to the point. Let's look more carefully at the details of this lovers.
Oh, God.
Our version.
Oh, well, it's okay because it's called the brothers. It's the brothers, and we do call each other comrades.
And we call each other comrades. First of all, let's look a little closer behind Constance's head there.
You can't quite see what it is, though.
Now, right there above her head is a church.
You can't see the cross. And then there's a dove, I think, higher up on the.
And a little higher up is where is it?
You can't see it.
You can't see. There it is. There it is. There's a bird, a dove. Okay. So there's a dove right above her head and a church with a cross on the steeple there. Okay. I'm not
Means
sure.
Nothing.
I'm not sure what that.
Stop
Look
already.
at her eyes. Isn't she gorgeous? I think she just winked at me. That never
Are
happened
you
in
leering?
that never happened in real life. And there's some flowers, and there looks like some kind of car there. I'm not sure what that was. And so there's that around Constance's head. Now around me,
Chickens in the sun.
chickens
And the sun.
and the sun.
This is not a tarot card.
Not only that, but right at my neck are rain clouds.
Is that what that is?
I think so. Either that or two pickles dripping. Either way. And coming out of my nose looks like a snake. And then we got this two images of a bull, one with a ring in its nose, and then we've got these mountain goats and a swan. Paramahansa Babalanda. Okay. And of course, chickens. What does it all mean? Damned if I know. But it's a great tarot card. And with today's technology and cut and paste and screen snapshots and things like that, I bet with just a couple hours of spare time, you could make your own set of at least 22 trumps of the magical images of your life. And when you read classical metaphysical literature like the Sabian oracles and things like that, that literally just almost arbitrarily take, say, 36 snapshots of any observed moment and have them recorded, and then divvy them out according to the decans of the zodiac, and then project those arbitrary images onto the decans of the zodiac wheel, and how they correspond with the let's say the small cards of the tarot. You can see how magical, personal magical tools can be created. Magicians make the mistake of thinking that classical literature, Sacred Magic of Abramelin, the Key of Solomon, all the different keys of Solomon, the Enochian stuff of John Dee, and we look at that and say, this is a magical system. If I follow it will. No, this is the pattern of a magical system that worked for one magician. That magician isn't you, but observing and understanding more or less the method to the madness that informed that magician, you are then prepared to develop your own system, which may take elements from many different systems, and then ones that you make yourself. You're your own magician. But anyway, And this seems to be the tarot card of the future lovers. So this is in probably 1965. 2 years later, Constance and I were married. I'd write books on Chicken Kabbalah. She would be a priestess and bishop of Ecclesia Gnostica Catholica. Our buddy Keith Goins would go on to be a rock star in the Midwest. He passed away just a couple years ago. Mr. Hathaway, the mad artist. Hopefully he's incarnated in Mexico, happily in Mexico, which is, he absolutely loved it. And our life continues to be one of sunshine and rain clouds. And that's all I'm going to do for today, because it's my birthday and I want to watch TV, eat treats, glut out, and try not to work too hard on the weekend seminar that I have coming up. I'm not even going to think about it for a while. Anyway, until tomorrow, which is known in the liturgical calendar of the DuQuette house as the day after Lon's birthday. Continue. Boxing Day. Only at our house, Constance hits me.
No, I don't.
And throws me against the ropes. Until tomorrow, continue to be good to yourself and be good to each other. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law.
Love is the law. Love under will.